Hey friends, it's Wilk, and before we get started with this week's episode, I want to mention a couple things real quick about a couple affiliates. Affiliates help me keep the show going, and by you using the services of one of our affiliates, I get a little kickback at no extra cost to you. So if you've ever thought about starting a podcast, Buzzsprout is a great place to start. They have some phenomenal tools, and starting a podcast is a lot easier when you've got the right tools. So join over 100,000 other people who've started a podcast with Buzzsprout, and if you click the link to them in our show notes, I'll get a little bit of something for every paid membership. So I would really appreciate that. Helps a lot to support the show. Also, online grocery shopping, it's a big thing right now, especially with the pandemic and the lockdowns and people, being sketchy about going out in the public. If you want to do some grocery shopping at home in a quick, convenient way and have that stuff delivered to your house, check out Instacart. Instacart is a phenomenal way for people to buy groceries online and have them conveniently delivered to their house. So, again, in our show notes, check out one of the banner ads, check out the links. Instacart is a great way to do a little bit of online grocery shopping and have it conveniently delivered to your house. So with that, we're going to dive right into the show. Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I am Wilk from wilksworld.com, and this is episode 32 of our podcast. And this is coming to you on Thanksgiving week 2020. So, episode 32 is going to be called Giving Thanks. It's not just a one-day-a-year event. And the reason that I say that is because we need to be expressing gratitude every single day of our lives. The D-Rate the Hate podcast is all about bettering the world one attitude at a time, and that begins with each of us as an individual, just like I always talk about. And episode 32 is going to be called Giving Thanks. It's not just a one-day-a-year event. So, if anybody, if you've listened to all the D-Rate the Hate podcasts, I want to express a very heartfelt thank you. But if you want to, the first time I talked about gratitude, I believe, or really brought it to the forefront in one of our episodes was actually episode 2. And if you want to go back to episode 2 and listen to that, is called, I believe it was Please, Thank You, and the Importance of Gratitude. I don't think there is anything in this world more important to happiness than gratitude. And gratitude is, and happiness is the key to not only getting rid of hate, which is one of the biggest things that we need to do in this world. Gratitude is key to happiness, and happiness is the key to making a better world. So, again, the D-Rate the Hate podcast, anybody who's listened for any amount of time knows we are out to better the world one attitude at a time, and that begins with being grateful people. Okay? So, again, I'm going to ask the question like I do each week, or a couple questions. What have you done today to make the world a better place? What have you done today to make your life a better life? Now, I interchange those questions. Sometimes one comes before the other, and I think they're both very important. I do believe that making the world a better place starts with making our lives as individuals, making our lives a better life. There's always going to be things out there that we cannot control. And those things are the things that we have to, compartmentalize. We've got to push those things aside, those things we cannot control. We cannot let the things we cannot control our feelings, right? Control our emotions. But being grateful for all the stuff that we do have, being grateful for those things that we can control and controlling them well, is very much key to making our lives a better life. Like I said, you can drop back to episode 2 in the podcast. I will warn you, that was the second podcast that I had ever done, short of a couple dry runs trying to get this thing off the ground. very low energy. And I even said back in the beginning of this thing, I'm, in a lot of ways, I'm not a real high energy speaker, or I wasn't. I think I'm getting better. I feel better about it. One of the things that I'm grateful for is, one of the things that I'm very grateful for is this podcast. Because as I do the podcast every week, I reiterate things to myself that have made my life better. If those things had not happened, I wouldn't have them to share in this podcast. And more importantly, if the things that happened throughout my life had not happened and I hadn't gained the wisdom from those things happening, my life would not be what it is today. So I am incredibly grateful for the podcast, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to put this stuff out there for the people that listen. Each week I know we're getting more and more listeners each week, and for that I'm very grateful. And more importantly than just having listeners, I want to know and hope that the things that I'm saying are reaching people and reaching them in a meaningful way, so that those things are bettering the lives of those who are listening. So, this week, like I said, Thanksgiving week 2020. 2020 has been an astronomically bad year in so many ways, and there are so many people out there that do focus on the negative. I mean, there's been a lot of loss. Not only has there been a lot of loss of life, but there's been a lot of loss of livelihoods, and loss of relationships, and loss of self-confidence, and loss of the ability to get out amongst the people and interact. I mean, human beings are very social creatures, and without that ability to interact with each other and socialize with each other, many people are at a huge loss. And we have to understand that, when it comes to all those people that we do get to talk to and we get to interact with. I mean, some people are taking that much worse than others. And some people, there are a lot of people out there that have it, much worse than their neighbor, maybe, or are taking things worse than their neighbor because of circumstances that we may not know. But what we need to do is, help them if we're able, help them to get through their struggles and help them do the things that they need to do. And the way that we can do that is to, accentuate the positive, be a positive person. Another one of our episodes was called "Smiles and Bad Moods Are Contagious." Not everybody is going to take what they're going through during these turbulent and tough times as well as you may be doing. So if you can be that smile, if you can be that person that brings that smile, to somebody today, hey, that's a phenomenal thing. Being grateful, like I said, is one of the greatest keys to happiness. Being able to understand that if we focus on the beautiful things that we do have, the beautiful tidbits within our life, and focus on those rather than the things that we're not able to do or the things that we do not have, our life is naturally going to be better. Focusing on the positive is always going to make things better for us as an individual. So gratitude is key in making sure that every day, like I wrap up each show, every day, make each and every day the day that you want it to be. It's up to us as an individual to make each day the day that we want it to be. That generally begins and ends with gratitude. So, this Thanksgiving week, I just can't stress enough the idea that, there's things that we can't do right now. There's people that we can't be around. There's people that we've lost. People have lost their homes and their businesses and loved ones. But no matter what bad you have gone through today, there's going to be something to be grateful for. And focusing on that gratitude needs to be a daily task. It needs to be something that we do every day, not just on Thanksgiving, not just on Thanksgiving week. Gratitude is something that we need to practice in our everyday lives. Get up in the morning. I don't care if you have to write it on the mirror in the shower or in the bathroom, but after you're done taking a shower, get yourself a little chalkboard, whatever you want to do. But write down something every day that you're grateful for. Make sure that there's something that you can focus on today that's positive, because we know for sure there's going to be negative stuff that we're going to have to interact with. We know for sure that we're going to deal with adversities on every day in our life. But if we start each day by grabbing something positive, grabbing something that we love, grabbing something that we're grateful for, is it your wife and waking up next to the person of your dreams? Is it the fact that you're still able to, talk to your parents, whether maybe it's just on the phone. Maybe you got a job that you absolutely love. Maybe your kid's doing something phenomenal in school that just, lights up your appreciation bucket. Whatever the case is, there's going to be something. There's going to be something that you can be grateful for to offset all the negative, all the rotten things that we are encountering with our day-to-day lives nowadays. So gratitude is something that we need to express every day of the year within our lives. It's not just a one-day-a-year event. It's something that we need to do every day. And I can't stress this enough. And Thanksgiving week, I love Thanksgiving. My whole life, Thanksgiving has been one of my absolute favorite holidays. It's a day that we were always able to get together with most of our relatives, whether it just be for part of the day for a meal, or whether it been the whole day and we got together and some of us went hunting and some of us stayed back and did the cooking and that Thanksgiving holiday is a day when we can come together and celebrate that appreciation for all the things that we're thankful for. And that's a beautiful thing. And I know a lot of people don't get to do that this year. They aren't going to get together and do that family celebration. But, nonetheless, that this is the time that, we can come together, and even if it's on a Zoom meeting or a big conference call or however you're going to do it, get together and spread the appreciation. Talk about the things that you're grateful for. But do not let that dissuade you from every day expressing gratitude. And like I said, even if it's just to yourself, even if it's something you just write down quick on the shower or on the mirror after you get out of the shower or on a little chalkboard, or keep yourself a little notepad, whatever the case may be. But you know what? Really appreciate those things that stand out in your life that are good, and express that gratitude every day. Give thanks for those things that really are worth giving thanks for and giving true appreciation and gratitude for, because, everybody's fighting battles, but if you appreciate those things that you can show true gratitude for, it's going to be an awesome daily task that's going to help you better your life. And again, bettering your life, as an individual, will always do a little bit to better the world. So with that, I'm going to move right into our feel-good story this week. Anybody who's listened for any amount of time knows that I love to talk about a story, a feel-good story, a good deed story, a story that you may not have heard because it didn't make the national doom and gloom media, it didn't make the national news. And I like to bring them up on this podcast because, frankly, I like looking for those stories each week. And when one of them stands out to me, I like to talk about it on the podcast. So With that, I want to talk about, it's kind of it's kind of a corny title, but most things involving dad are corny, or dads are corny, and this one kind of fits the bill. But I tell you what, it's a great story. It's a cool story. And this story, I saw it in the Washington Post, and it goes, or the title of the article goes something like, "It started as a macho bake-off between dads, but months later, it has now turned into a situation where these dads have actually delivered like more than 15,000 cookies to frontline caregivers over the past several months." So it started out where a couple of guys. Well, I think it started out actually with one guy, Scott McKenzie, who had been furloughed from his job as an instructor at a local college, and he decided since he was furloughed, he was going to start learning how to do new things. And one of the first things he decided he was going to learn how to do was bake cookies from scratch. Okay, and then his friend Jeremy Ulrich, I'm not sure exactly how you say that last name, but he got furloughed as well, and then he decided he was going to start baking cookies with his little boys, and then they decided they were going to have a bake-off, and then somehow one of their former students got involved, and she decided that she wanted to be in their bake-off, and then they got the local mayor involved to be the judge, and you know what? Just the way these pieces all fell together, it was really a neat story. And they started baking all these cookies, and since they really couldn't put together, because of the pandemic and the COVID, they couldn't really get a big panel of judges together. They originally wanted to get like local first responders and firefighters and healthcare workers and stuff to be their panel of judges, but the reality of it is they really couldn't do that because of the COVID and whatnot. So they had the judge, the mayor, be the judge of the first one, and then they just decided to start getting different people involved because the different people from the community wanted to get involved and start baking cookies, and all of a sudden they got all these people baking all these cookies. So they started taking all these cookies, and since they couldn't have the frontline caregivers be the judges, they decided they were going to be the recipients, which is very cool. So they started donating all these cookies and started, I think it's called Cookies for Caregivers. Cookies for Caregivers. Which really, I mean, just such a neat concept, such a great little way to express appreciation for those people on the front lines that are taking care of all the people that are suffering from from the COVID, and very beautiful thing that these guys are doing. As you guys know, I absolutely love it when ordinary people do extraordinary things, and this is one of them such instances. So Scott McKenzie, Jeremy Ulrich, you guys are doing awesome things. Very cool way to turn a bad situation into something positive. And I know that the people that you're helping can't express enough gratitude for what you're doing. It seems like such a simple thing, but you know what? 15,000 cookies brings a lot of smiles to people's faces, and any time you can do that, it's a beautiful thing. So thousands of cookies, thousands of smiles, and a lot of good going on there with these guys. So I'll put the link to this story in the show notes, and if you get a chance to read it, check it out. Very cool deal that these guys are doing. So with that, I am going to wrap up episode 32 of the D-Rate the Hate podcast. And I just want to tell you, be grateful. This is Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is a beautiful holiday. We can't maybe celebrate it this year the way that we would like to do with the loved ones and whatever. But I tell you what, make sure you're expressing gratitude every day. Share your stories of gratitude on Thanksgiving. Spread it around the family. That's awesome. But every day is a day for expressing gratitude. So when you get back out there amongst the people, be kind to one another. Be grateful for everything that you've got. And ultimately remember, it's up to you each and every day to make that day the day that you want it to be. So with that, I'm Wilk from wilksworld.com. And from all of us here at Wilk's World, I want to say a very happy Thanksgiving, a very blessed holiday to you and your family. And thank you so much for all the support for the D-Rate the Hate podcast. And with that, I'm going to back on out of here.